Welcome to Yoga and Stories. Today we will be telling the story Use Your Imagination by Nicola O'Byrne. This is one of many books that you can check out at the Bettendorf Public Library. Before we begin our story, our certified yoga instructors will explain the poses we will be doing while demonstrating them. This is Miss Sharon. In a moment, you'll hear Miss Lanell explaining how to do the poses. Have fun.
Remember that in yoga, everyone can do these poses. We always want to make enough space that everybody's safe, and you're supposed to have fun. Don't worry too much about how your poses look because everybody's going to be a little different. We do yoga to stretch our muscles and keep our bodies healthy. And also we want to think about our breathing. You don't have to think about your breathing normally because your body just does that for you. But just for a minute, I want you to put your hands over your stomach and up near your throat and take a deep breath in and feel how your lungs expand. And you can learn to use that breath, especially if you're scared or if you're angry. Do you ever get so angry you just find that you're holding your breath? Well, take a deep breath. Or sometimes when you're scared, you find that you're breathing really fast and you stop and you take a deep breath. And that will help you stop and think before you do something else. So as we do our yoga poses today, think about how you're breathing sometimes as we do these. Since our story today is called Use Your Imagination, we're going to be doing star pose to represent imagination. You'll see this several times, just arms wide, legs wide. And then we're going to do one called banana. It's a good stretch. Arms above the head, grasp one wrist with the other hand, tip to that side, and then the other side, remembering that we always do things on both sides to keep in balance. While we're standing, we're also going to do something we call fairy tale pose or dancer pose. So you'll stand on one foot and you can grab the other foot in your hand and lean forward, and we're looking like a dancer in that one. The next one is a really fun pose. It's called lion, and we use this when we're doing something to show a scary animal. So put your hands up by your face and open your mouth wide and stick out your tongue, and you can make a big roar if you want. Another animal pose we're doing today is elephant. So on that one, we're just going to lean over and we're going to make our arms into the trunk of an elephant and swing back and forth the way an elephant would. We also have a couple of costumes that we're talking about as we go through this story. So spacesuit, we're going to just stand tall and we're going to make a circle with our arms above our head, like the helmet of a spacesuit would be. And we're also doing a wizard pose where we'll just use our arms in a pointed fashion to make a wizard hat. Then we're going to come into downward facing dog. We use this one almost every week, I think. And today we're going to be using it for our woof. So just stretch out, hands on the floor, feet on the floor. Your heels may not come all the way down, that's okay. And you just stretch into this. It should be a comfortable pose. Then we're going to do hero pose. So we'll bend our knees, bring those down to the floor, and just sit back on our heels and get tall and relaxed. Another one we do often today is called rabbit pose, which is like our mouse pose, except instead of putting our hands flat on the floor, we put our arms up behind like the long ears of a rabbit. Again, remember that we'll be doing these over and over, and someone will demonstrate them for you as we go through the story, so you don't have to know all these and you don't have to remember all of them on your own. Have fun and be safe.
We start out as we usually do, sitting in an easy cross-legged position and placing our hands in prayer pose at our heart. What do we say?
Namaste.
Namaste.
What does that mean?
My heart honors your heart.
Today we are going to tell the story, Use Your Imagination, by Nicola O'Byrne. One day, Rabbit was feeling bored. Now we're going to get into the rabbit pose. Kneel down on the ground, put your head to the floor, and raise your arms up. I wish something would happen, he said. Excuse me, said a voice. May I help? It was Wolf. Now we're going to get into downward dog position. Well, maybe, said Rabbit. I'm bored. And back into the rabbit pose. Why don't we write a story, said Wolf. And now from the rabbit pose, back to downward dog. I am a librarian, you know, and librarians know a lot about stories. Now we're going to be seated in an easy cross-legged position and hold our hands up as if we are reading a book. You don't look like a librarian, said Rabbit. And now we get back into the rabbit pose. What big ears you have! Now you can rub your ears. All the better for listening to stories with, my dear, said Wolf. And now we go back into downward dog. And what big eyes you have, said Rabbit. Now we're going to get into a kneeling position and put our hands up like goggles around our eyes. All the better for reading with, my dear, said Wolf. Now you'll get back into the cross-legged position and hold up your hands like you're reading a book. I'm sure I've heard something like that before, said Rabbit. You can tap your head like you're thinking very hard. Never mind that, said Wolf quickly. You can get back into downward dog position for the wolf. Let's get on with the story. But how do we start? Asked Rabbit. Now we'll stand in preparation for the next pose. You need to use your imagination. Now we're going to put our legs out wide, our arms out wide, like a star. That means using words and pictures to create a story, explained Wolf. And of course, there's really only one way to begin a story. Once upon a time, said Wolf. Once again, you can move back into the position of downward dog. What is our story going to be about? Asked Rabbit. Now we'll get back into the rabbit pose. Well, said Wolf, use your imagination. And now we can go back into the star pose. Space rockets! Cried Rabbit. Now we're going to get into the wizard pose, where we put our arms above our head, kind of like we're shaped like a rocket. Big explosions! Keep your hands as a rocket, bend your knees and come down, and then blast off! And bananas! We need lots of bananas! Now you're going to stand up straight, take one arm and hold onto your other wrist with your arms above your head and stretch to the side. And then you want to do that for the other side as well. "Oh, I don't think so," said Wolf. Now we'll go back into downward dog position. What we need is a fairy tale, something to really sink your teeth into. Now we're going to do the dancer pose for our fairy. You stand on one foot, grab the other foot, and lean forward with your other arm out. And as always, what you do on one side, you'll want to do on the other side. So you can grab the other foot and reach forward with the other arm. If you need to hold on to something, that's okay. And of course, all fairy tales need a bad guy. Next, we'll do the lion pose, where you stand up straight, put your hands next to your face, and make a scary face. You can even roar like a lion. "What about a mouse?" asked Rabbit. Now we're going to get into the mouse pose. You can kneel down onto the ground, put your head down, make yourself as small as a mouse. "I was thinking about something bigger," said Wolf. Now come up from the mouse pose into downward dog. "An elephant!" cried Rabbit. Now we're going to stand up and do the elephant pose. You'll lean forward with your hands clasped together and swing your arms like the trunk of an elephant. "How about something medium size?" said Wolf quickly. "I know! What about you?" asked Rabbit. "Now that's a good idea," said Wolf. And now go back into downward dog. "What's next?" asked Rabbit. "Well, of course, we need a hero," said Wolf. Now we will get into the hero position. You can sit back on your heels and sit as tall as you can. "Me, me, me, me," said Rabbit. So we'll move from the hero pose into the rabbit pose. "What a great idea," said Wolf. "But what will I wear?" said Rabbit. "Oh, it doesn't matter much," said Wolf. Now we go into the downward dog position. "Use your imagination." Come up from downward dog into the star position. Arms wide, legs wide. "A spacesuit!" cried Rabbit. Now you can put your feet back together, raise your hands over your head like a circle, like you're an astronaut. Or a pirate hat. You can cover one eye, get up on one foot, and you can even make a little hook with your hand. Or what about a little red cape? Now you can twirl in place with your arms out like you're wearing a cape. "Oh, you probably don't need a costume," said Wolf, smiling. "But where does this story happen?" asked Rabbit. Now you can get down on your knees and make questioning arms. "Use your imagination," said Wolf. And now we'll get back into the star position with arms and legs wide. "That's a tricky one," said Rabbit. "What do you think?" "I was thinking of somewhere tree-y," said Wolf. Now we'll get into the tree pose. Lift up one foot and rest it on the other leg. And you can put your arms up or out like a tree. "Oh, what about a forest?" squeaked Rabbit. Now we can do the tree pose with the other side. So you'll lift the other foot and rest it on the other leg. Now that's a good idea, said Wolf. Rabbit felt very proud. We've got a bad guy. That's the lion. So you'll make a lion face and you can go roar. And a hero. We'll do the hero pose, where we are seated on our heels. And a forest, he said. And now we can do the tree pose again, making sure to switch to the other side. Is the story going to start soon? Oh yes, said Wolf, grinning. The story starts right now. Now we can run in place like we're moving very, very fast. I don't like this story at all, panted Rabbit as Wolf chased after him. Really? Snarled Wolf. Well, don't worry, we're nearly at the end. I don't think so, said Rabbit, suddenly stopping. I'm the hero after all. And now we can get into the hero pose again, seated on our heels, sitting up straight. And I'm going to use my imagination. Now we'll get into the star pose. And so, Rabbit did. You can point to your head like you're using your imagination too. This isn't a good idea at all, said Wolf. Rabbit grinned. Well, don't worry, we're nearly at the end. Now we're gonna crouch down like a rocket again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! And you can jump into the star position. Now that was a good idea, said Rabbit. Isn't using your imagination a wonderful thing? Now that our story's over, it's time for us to get down slowly onto the ground, lay back, and relax. You can close your eyes and soften into the floor. Breathe in and out slowly. Imagine you are floating on a cloud. Soften your arms and legs into the cloud. Breathe in and out slowly. Now you can start wiggling your toes and then your fingers. Remember to breathe deeply. Then you'll slowly roll over to your side and sit up. Once you're back in a cross-legged position, it's time to end. And how do we end?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.